Good evening, Messiah, and welcome back to another edition of Falcon Update live on YBTV. I'm Dani Johnson.
And I'm Rosie Schiano. Campaign season has officially begun for the next SGA student body president. Current Vice President Mary-Liz Bermudez is looking to run for president alongside Gabrielle Mitchell, and newcomer Moises Ramirez will campaign with Ashley Gleaser. Neither candidates have announced a platform yet, but expect to learn more in the next upcoming weeks. The two candidates will meet on January 28th for SGA's student body president debate. Tune in to YBTV at 7 p.m. that night for live coverage.
Starting off the week's recap, the Multicultural Council got their karaoke on in the union's upper floor. Leaving their doors open, the event's purpose was to have anybody who was interested come and see what their community was about. Songs of all kinds were sung, and the night was filled with laughs as the council kept their energy high.
So we host events like these because we just love making a space where the multicultural students can have like their own space to have fun, and like everyone's encouraged too, but we make these events just to have a place of belonging, just to have fun and let loose.
While perhaps a smaller event, nights like these demonstrate the wide variety of activities that MCC offers throughout the year. Be on the lookout to see just what they'll do next.
Messiah Student Nutrition Awareness Club, appropriately nicknamed SNAC, held its annual Valentine's Day party to make chocolate-covered strawberries and enjoy each other's company. However, SNAC's mission runs deeper than just what their name may imply.
I'm Sarah Connolly, and I am president of SNAC, which is Student Nutrition Awareness Club. So what we're doing tonight is a Valentine's party. So we're making some chocolate-covered strawberries, and we're talking about the benefits of eating socially. And what we aim to do is to spread nutrition awareness. A lot of people think that we are the food police, and so we're just aiming to spread our love of food and healthy eating.
SNAC meets every third Wednesday of the month in Jordan Room 36. If you too would like to enjoy some tasty treats and learn more about healthy eating habits, you can follow them on Instagram at snack.club to find more.
Aroma Chapels are back, and they continue to add a unique chapel experience by combining athletics with faith. Caleb Kukin had a chance to sit down with Aroma director Aaron Farrow and hear exactly what Aroma Chapels are all about.
Aroma is a 4x4 chapel service, previously called a sixer, that grants a slightly different experience than regular chapel.
I think it's probably more like other chapels than it is different. I think maybe one difference is a lot of the speakers that we bring in and the people that are sharing to an audience who loves sport, and oftentimes will use sport as a context for storytelling or for lessons and things that would connect with somebody who loves sports or is a part of a team. It's a very natural way for them to maybe connect with the message that's being shared. Aroma Chapel's about really ultimately our belonging in Christ and our unity in that, not necessarily in our love for sport.
Although the services are based around faith and athletics, it is open to all students, not just Messiah athletes.
It's open to anybody. I mean, anybody who would enjoy sports, has a passion for sports, wants to learn ways to integrate their faith in sport. It's been harder to communicate that message out to students broadly across campus. I think in some ways it attracts our athletes naturally, but yeah, totally up for anybody being a part of that on campus who has those passions.
Men's lacrosse coach Dan Carson shared a message on how to love.
My favorite part was just the way he kind of challenged us and called us to be like a community that loves one another the way that Jesus loved people, and the impact that would have. But also thought the way that he pointed that to, like, that's only going to happen if we understand, like, our own identity and our own belonging, like, in who God says we are.
For YBTV, I'm Caleb Kukin.
The Asian Student Association hosted a Lunar New Year celebration in the Larson Student Union, focusing on Asian culture and traditions and trivia. Let's take a look at exactly what took place.
ASA hosted a Lunar New Year celebration. Any student who came to the Larson Student Union was welcomed with a colorful display of East Asian culture. Food, activities, and performances were brought together into one big night of tradition sharing.
Well, tonight's event was to celebrate Lunar New Year's, which is celebrating the start of a new year in the lunar calendar that a lot of East Asian and Southeast Asian nations celebrate. It's slightly late. This year's Lunar New Year was supposed to be in January, but we were waiting for half of our cabinet to come back to Messiah to celebrate together.
Lasting 3 hours, the night included a diverse array of events that maintained attendee engagement while teaching on cultural history and customs that many people may not have been exposed to previously.
So we had some traditional Chinese performers come in. They did some Chinese drums, some lion dances, which is a traditional dance that incorporates like a lion costume that brings good luck and good prosperity. We taught people about the different zodiacs in the years, and we had photo booths and Thai food.
The ASA hopes to host more big events like these, so keep an eye out for what they have planned next. For YBTV, I'm Tristan Brown.
And that's the sound of a swinging good time at the Swinging Dance Club. Members taught students a different style of dance they probably aren't used to. Make sure to keep an eye out for more formal dances like these on campus this semester. And come out to any swing dance meetings if you are interested in learning to swing dance.
The Office of Sustainability, MU Earthkeepers, and the Oaks Museum came together to celebrate the winners of the Fall 2022 Nature Photography Contest. This contest takes place every fall semester. It serves as a way to capture the beauty of campus and to allow students to show off their photography skills.
I think it definitely just shows that the campus is really concerned about sustainability, and also there's just like so much beauty in the environment that we should take note of and like take pictures of and just appreciate that beauty that God has given us.
Make sure to stop by the Oaks Museum to see the displays yourself.
Up next, we have Kelly Gainey, Josh McLeaf, and more.
We will be right back with more Falcon Update live on YBTV after the break.
A student would want to study the finance major here at Messiah for several reasons. Students here are working and practicing in a setting in our finance lab with technology that they're going to use when they leave here and work in the field. And so our students are certified in Bloomberg. In addition, in several classes, our students are actually performing consulting projects with local financial and investing firms.
I think the biggest thing that surprised me about coming for the finance major here was just the scope that you get in all the different classes. So anything from corporate finance to portfolio management and security analysis, you touch on everything. Getting into investment club was something I really was looking forward to coming here to Messiah. I knew from very early on I wanted to get involved.
There's nothing wrong with going out, being successful, making money, but not allowing money to have a higher place in your life than God. So our goal is to get our students started off on their career path quicker and better positioned than any of their peers.
I'm Lily. I am a junior, and I am a broadcasting and media production major at Messiah. I chose to be a broadcasting and media production major because as a little girl, I dreamt of being a TV anchor. There are so many opportunities you can have as a broadcasting major. Messiah is really unique in the fact that we have our own TV station, and it's student-led, so each week we have Falcon Update, which is a half hour, and then we have MC Live, which is a half hour as well. My favorite part is just being in the hustle and bustle of everything, and I'm really excited to just be creative when I'm putting together news packages or shooting other stories, just really getting every element of storytelling in my work. So we have a lot of faith-based projects. Right now we're working on one, it's called Faith Sides for multimedia storytelling. In pairs we're interviewing each other for 2 minutes about some aspect of faith. A lot of students from our major either intern at ABC 27 or WGAL. I shadowed one of my professors at a Hershey Bears game. The Bears are a local AHL hockey team, and through that experience I developed connections and eventually I got a job there. So I run the Crossfire machine and the LEDs on game days. My freshman year at Messiah, when I first came, I knew absolutely nothing about broadcasting or media. And now I feel confident that I can go work at a TV news station.
Welcome back to Falcon Update live on YBTV. Kelly Gainey brings up a new edition of The Vault. Kelly?
The accident occurred here at the 3 Mile Island nuclear power plant a dozen miles south of Harrisburg.
The nuclear accident at 3 Mile Island happened on March 28, 1979, and for several days thereafter. As a result of technical malfunctions and human error, 3 Mile Island's Unit 2 nuclear generating station was the scene of the nation's worst commercial nuclear accident. Radiation was released, and a part of the nuclear core was damaged, and thousands of residents evacuated the area. Events here would cause basic change throughout the world's nuclear power industry. I'm Kelly Gainey. Welcome to this week's Vault.
The academic dean at that time was David Brandt, and he tried to play down the seriousness of it, tried to, for the college community. I think his line was, they know what they're doing at 3 Mile Island. The community reaction varied. Some headed out very quickly. I know that the community, some headed for Pittsburgh to the west. I won't say that there was a mass exodus, but there were a lot of people who left. Others stayed though.
I'm Kelly Gainey, and this is The Vault.
The weather has not been consistent or reliable these days, but you know who is? Josh McLeaf. Josh McLeaf brings you this week's weather forecast. Josh?
Well, Rose, you're going to have me blush on the air, get me all flustered, but you know what else is going to have me flustered? The forecast this week, and you'll see why here in just a few moments. But I think overall, this past weekend felt like February. We were in the 40s most of the time, dropped down into the 20s sometimes overnight. It was mild, it was consistent, it was solid. Today was pretty pleasant as well, actually. Right now we're at about 55 degrees on the campus of Messiah, dropping down to 41 overnight. We actually hit 60 earlier today. There was an open house today, too, on campus, so a great day for our students to come or prospective students to come and visit campus and really get the true beauty of Messiah. But we kind of gotten used to these warm temperatures. We saw some last week. I kind of said that we were going to see them again this week, and that is true. So I kind of got thinking, all right, what are our averages for February usually, and what are our highs? What's the highest temperature we've seen so far? So we'll take a look at some February statistics so far in terms of weather. Our record high in February for this part of Pennsylvania is 76. That was back in 2018. And our average temperature usually runs around 44 degrees. So again, this past weekend, pretty consistent. You'll see why this record high comes into play here in just a few moments. But then our record low back in 2015, -1. I don't think we've been close to that so far at all this year. So I don't think we have to worry about that. But you'll see why these numbers are kind of important here as we take a look at this coming week. So we'll take a look at tomorrow. We have a high of 58, low of 31, pretty pleasant, but we do have those showers that start tonight and then continue through early tomorrow morning. We do get a break from the rain as we move from Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, but we do see some more rain showers come back for part of Wednesday afternoon. A little bit cooler on Wednesday, high of 42 and a low of 37, but then Thursday, take a look at this, high of 74 and a low of 38. So really getting that high temperature in there. Not quite record-breaking, but pretty significantly warm for this time of year, considering our average is around 42 degrees. So for the most part this week, we're above or just below average. But if you take a look at Friday, we're down to 41 degrees, and then we drop down to 24 as we move into Saturday morning. Now, that is kind of frustrating, in my opinion. We drop 50 degrees in less than 48 hours. And if you take a look at Saturday, we have a high of 36 and a low of 33. So we're consistent on Saturday. And if you're like me, you're not a huge fan of the cold, that may be frustrating to you. But believe me, it could be worse. When I started to prep the forecast last night, I was actually seeing a chance of a wintry mix for Saturday morning. I woke up this morning, and that's out of the cards now. So believe me, this stinks. It does stink. It's going to be a little cool, but it could be worse if you're not a fan of the snow. And then Sunday, we do warm up a little bit. We're back to 49, a low of 28. That's that low kind of coming from Saturday night, moving into Sunday morning. So all things considered, we're really all over the place this coming week in terms of temperature and rain, no rain, possible wintry mix, and then it just kind of faded away all of a sudden. So really not a lot of stability at this time of year as we kind of transition from winter into spring. So that's the best I can do. Do with that information what you will. Dress accordingly and just do the best you can to be comfortable in those elements. But enjoy that 70-degree weather on Thursday, and have a great week. I'm Josh McLeaf with the Falcon Forecast, sending it back to you.
You can always count on Josh to deliver an accurate weather forecast.
Yeah, you can.
This week, Caden went around campus asking students what upcoming movie they are most excited for. Caden?
Hello, welcome back to Falcon on the Street, and this week we are asking people what is their most anticipated movie of 2023?
I think my most anticipated movie, I have like 2-3 options. So my floor actually is called Super Mario Brothers, so I gotta put the Mario movie in there, right? Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers, right? And then Creed 3 looks pretty fire, so I'm really excited for that. And then there's Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I think it's called Part 1. I think I'm excited for that too. So that's my answer.
The movie I'm most excited for to watch in 2023 is Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Oppenheimer. And then do I say why? Because Christopher Nolan's my favorite director of all time, and he blew up a real nuke for this movie, so it's gonna be good.
My most anticipated movie is Ant-Man Quantumania, because I'm a big Marvel fan, and also I study quantum physics. There's a really cool tie in there.
For me, the most anticipated movie of 2023 is Asteroid City, directed by Wes Anderson. He's got a lot of good films and another star-studded cast coming up this year, so pretty excited.
We've had a lot of good answers, but personally, I'm really excited for Super Mario and Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Now, this is Caden Beidelswager signing off of YBTV.
You know the drill. Another Monday, another campus calendar report from Brandon Cruz. Brandon?
Hello, Messiah University. I'm Brandon Cruz, and welcome to this week's edition of Campus Calendar. Let's take a look at some events happening around campus for the upcoming week. On Tuesday from 10 o'clock a.m. to 2 o'clock p.m., the Agape Center will be hosting the Spring Off-Campus Programs Recruitment Fair in the Eisenhower Campus Center. Representatives from various off-campus program partners of Messiah will be there to recruit from places like Italy, Ecuador, Costa Rica, and many more, so make sure to stop by. Then on Wednesday afternoon from 10:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. will be the Summer Job Fair, also taking place in the Eisenhower Campus Center. The Student Employment Office is showcasing various potential on-campus jobs for students during this upcoming summer, such as admissions tour guides, conference assistants, campus events workers, and many more. This Thursday night at 7 o'clock p.m., the band In Yellow will be having another performance at the Union for another installment of the SAB Union Live Music Series, so make sure to go check to the Union to check out some great live music. On Friday night, SAB is hosting a cake decorating showdown in the Union from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock p.m. SAB will provide all the materials needed, and prizes will be given out for the winners. Also at 7:30 p.m., the Messiah University Symphony Orchestra will be performing in Palmer Hall. The performance is free and open to the public. Finally, on Saturday night from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock p.m., there will be a dance concert as a part of this year's Humanities Symposium. The concert will be in Palmer Hall and will feature images and metaphors relating to this year's symposium's theme of migration. The event is free to attend, but a ticket is required. And that is all for this week's edition of Campus Calendar, and I hope to see you all at some of these events later on this week. For YBTV, I'm Brandon Cruz.
And that wraps up current campus news for this week.
Up next, Caleb and Nate bring you the latest on Messiah Sports. We'll be right back after the break.
I grew up creative, always drawing, Legos, played a ton of Legos from the time I could start putting them together. When I got into school, I thought I was going to be a painter, and then I thought I was going to be a graphic designer, but it wasn't until I took my first foundations of art class, 3D design, where I was carving a salt block, just a little carpenter chisel, and I stuck it underneath the water, and it kind of started deteriorating, and I loved it, and it felt comfortable, and it felt right, and that's when I realized that 3D is where I belong. Sculpture is what I needed to pursue. that passion in your belly, if you wake up and you got to make something, if you grab the paper clip and you manipulate it into some form, or you're doodling in your sketchbook, or everything you do you see through a more creative side, then listen to that spirit talking in you and follow it. And for that young artist, it's hard and it's difficult, but you got to just keep on doing it. You got to just keep on doing it. You know, we were all there. We want to hang out with you. We want you to look over our shoulder and watch us cut this piece. Ask us that question. Don't be scared. Everybody has that starting point.
Welcome back to Falcon Update. This is YBTV Sports. I'm Nathan Harlacker.
And I'm Caleb Kukin, here to bring recap this past week in Messiah Athletics, starting off with the Falcon 4. First, we'll go to Hitchcock Arena, where the Messiah men's volleyball team took on Elizabethtown on Wednesday. Here's a Mason Nisley serve, and Elizabethtown tries to get it over. Good defense from Stauffer there, and Messiah on the attack, and Elizabethtown again with some good defense. They barely get it over, which is their first mistake, as Nisley fires a missile across the net there. We have to see that one again. Just on this replay, watch how high Nisley gets up here. It's almost unstoppable if you're Elizabethtown. The Falcons swept the Jays 3-0 to win their third straight and keep their top 10 national ranking. Nate, what do you got?
Well, Messiah men's basketball had their final home matchup of the year as they took on the Stevenson Mustangs on Tuesday, where Tyler Penley gives us this spectacular highlight. So you can see Bryce Coletti here dribbling up the court, gets the screen from Couperis on to Penley on the corner for the three, and bang! He drills it for the and one. And you can see, let's get another look at that again. Gets the foul there and the three. What a masterclass of basketball right there. The Mustangs ended up victorious over the Falcons 62-58 in a nail-biter to the end. The Falcons wrapped up their season at LVC with a 102-77 loss.
The women's basketball team also played Stevenson in their last home game of the regular season. In this highlight, the Falcons show how they can turn excellent defense into offense. Here's the Mustangs trying to work the ball around the perimeter. Here's a shot, and Reese Harden is having none of that. Amber High is able to corral the loose ball and dishes it down to Megan Zimmerman, who gives the Falcons a 17-point lead late in the fourth. Here it is, Harden with the excellent defense. High corralling the ball with the dish, and Zimmerman with the great finish there. Falcons took down the Mustangs and finished off their season with the win against LVC to secure the #1 seed in the MAC Commonwealth playoffs.
Messiah men's volleyball not only hosted the Elizabethtown Blue Jays at home, but also the Wilkes Colonels, which is where Jacob Hom gives us this powerful kill of a highlight. So you can see Wilkes setting up the ball there. Matt Nabb sets it up beautifully for Jacob Hom, and he slams it down for the kill. Should get another look at that again. Beautiful setup there from Matt Nabb. And Jacob Hom gets up there real high and slams it down on the Colonels. And the Falcons ended up sweeping the Colonels 3-0, advancing their record to 11-2 on the season. The Falcons have 3 road matchups coming up this week.
That does it for this Falcon 4, but those aren't the only Messiah sports happening this week. Messiah men's lacrosse got their season started on Saturday with a 14-9 win over McDaniel College. Bobby Berg led the Falcons with 4 goals as the Falcons overcame a first-quarter deficit to start the season 1-0.
Messiah baseball migrated south to North Carolina for the weekend. They started their season off with an exciting 9-8 win over Virginia Wesleyan University, thanks to a Thomas Ziegler go-ahead homer at the top of the 9th. The Falcons dropped 2 of their next 2 games to finish their weekend in North Carolina at 1-2.
Women's lacrosse also got their season started. They were on the road at the University of Scranton. The Falcons erased a 4-goal deficit to win in overtime 11-10. The winning goal came from Hannah Gaughan. It was her game-leading third of the game. The women's lacrosse team plays their home opener this Wednesday versus Gettysburg College.
The Messiah Track and Field team traveled north for the Susquehanna Tune-Up on Saturday. They came away with multiple top 10 finishes in many different events and even qualified for the MAC championships at Alvernia and on Friday and Saturday.
While usually we just talk about our main NCAA sports here at Messiah, that doesn't cover all the sports Messiah students compete in. For Reichert's siblings, Faith and Caleb, they've represented Messiah at USCSA alpine skiing competitions the past 2 years. After making nationals in 2022, they competed in regionals this weekend in an attempt to do it again this year. PJ Rydell has the story.
The weather may be warming up, but here...
So we're at Ski Round Top. This is the local ski area.
Not everyone is ready to move on from the snow.
This is where me and Faith coach. It's where we also get some training in for our racing, and it's a fun place to be.
Siblings Faith and Caleb Reichert have been skiing since early in childhood.
We've been competitive all our life, you know. Always had some sort of plan to compete in college.
But bringing their sport to Messiah would require starting a team all by themselves.
When I came to Messiah, I wanted to start that up as a formal club sport. So Faith joined me. We started the team. We were coaching here, getting our training here, and then racing on the weekends.
While they may still be a team of two, that hasn't stopped them from representing Messiah at competitions all across the country.
And it was really great representing Messiah in general, just because even going to regionals and normal races, kids would show up being like, Messiah, we've never heard of that. Who even are you? So it was really cool going to a national event, having so many different people there and so many different schools. No one really knew who we were, so we were able to kind of make our name for ourselves.
In 2022, both Faith and Caleb competed in nationals. And after the 2023 regionals this weekend, Faith will once again compete nationally, while Caleb's season comes to an end. Fortunately, skiing is about more than just competing for them.
Your Faith especially comes out and being a coach. Me and Faith both coach. We're usually with the younger age groups, maybe like 8 to 12. You know, it's just really about teaching them to be good sports, but just have fun doing it, find the joy in that.
It's a great thing to kind of give back and kind of show people that you love the sport so much that you want other kids to love that too.
For YBTV, I'm PJ Rydell.
Thanks, PJ, and best of luck to Faith in the national championships coming up here in March. You can read more about the siblings in the upcoming edition of the Swinging Bridge magazine, releasing later this week on Friday.
And that does it for YBTV Sports and Falcon Update. Thank you for watching. YB Tonight is up next, and you don't want to miss it, so keep it here on YBTV.
Forests bring people together, feed the soul, and improve our well-being, cleaning the water we need, the air we breathe, and making our climate livable. Fires and natural disasters devastate our forests each year. That's why the Arbor Day Foundation is working to replant millions of trees across the country. Visit arborday.org and see how you can help.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to YB Tonight, live from right here in Hossetter Chapel. I'm your host, Reed Milliken, and we've got a great show for you guys tonight. First, we're going to have a student talk about their first short film. His name's Ethan Madden, and then after that, we're going to be interviewing Rachel Eves on the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. But before we move on, for this week's Beyond the Breaches, let's take a look at what Aaron Lucas, a Messiah alum, has been up to since graduation.
Aaron Lucas just keeping his distance on that side of the quad, going underneath the ridge, back and forth, keeping that space with that EQ. Obstacles in the way for Jake. Too much time. That's an evasion.
Aaron Lucas, a 2021 Messiah University graduate, is an accomplished athlete that went on to pursue competing in sports like World Chase Tag and American Ninja Warrior after graduation. World Chase Tag came to the U.S. in 2019 and Aaron Lucas's team was one of the first teams to compete in the sport for the U.S. This is a competition that includes professional tag with parkour athletes. Athletes compete against each other trying to tag an opponent within 20 seconds or trying to evade a tag within that same time frame. The course is full of obstacles that force athletes to apply not only their endurance, but their parkour skills, which Lucas has plenty of background in with his competitions in American Ninja Warrior.
So my name is Aaron Lucas. I graduated in 2021 with a degree in adventure education. Right when I turned 19, I was like, I gotta give it a shot. So went to a couple of ninja gyms and started training ninja. At the same time, the owner, I would see him training parkour and was like, hey, can I try some of that? And he was like, yeah, why not? So we would get together and we'd train parkour at the same time.
If and when we come to it, doing some work up high, good foot placement. He's looking steady, but what's the time to strike? It's not now. Aaron Lucas is just keeping him at arm's length, longer than arm's length.
As the years went on, Lucas's team was able to hone in on their skills and quickly work their way up the ranks. In 2021, Lucas's team did something no team has ever done before, which was score not only 1 point, but 3 points against the second best team in the sport, Apex Sun. These points forced Apex Sun to a sudden death in the competition.
I think that was the biggest turning point for that particular match. I scored one of the points, so my team, one of my teammates, Gio, scored one, and then my other teammate, Paul.
World Chase Tag is not the only thing that Aaron Lucas has on his horizon. He is also currently training for speed climbing in the Olympics.
I'm a little bit of a special case because I'm doing all the Ninja Warrior stuff, and I'm now currently trying to train for the Olympic trials for speed climbing. So I believe trials will be in either February or March of 2024. Shortly after that, they'll probably pick the Olympic team.
Thanks for watching. For Beyond the Breaches, I'm Jessica Fannin.
Thanks, Jess. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back after the break.
Yes. Oh, hi. I suppose you're wondering what an A-list celebrity like me is doing in a place like this. You must know, I'm saving the world. Oh, hi, Beth. Yep, saving the world again. Did you know that 40% of all the food produced in the United States is thrown away? That means everything that went into that food, the pesticides, the water, the land, was all for nothing. Just look at this perfectly good food thrown in the trash. The pizza with extra Cheerios, these goldfish and Band-Aid tacos. And just look at this perfect trash burger. This pasta dog looks delicious.
You don't have to dumpster dive like Ed Begley Jr. to save the planet. Fight food waste by shopping smart and using what you buy before it gets trashed.
That's way better. Ooh, arugula.
Do your part and find out other world-saving tips at betterthaned.org.
Welcome back to YB Tonight. I'm sitting here with Ethan Madden, who is going to show us his very first student short film. Let's cut to that now.
What you want me to tell you, man? Like, I cannot be your therapist, bro. Like, I got my homework to do. All right, this ain't just any free time.
My bad. I was just thinking out loud. It is what it is.
No.
It's like it won't go away though. Like it doesn't matter what I do. It's always right in the back of my mind, type thing. And over it. Like, I want to be done with it, you know.
Dude, I don't know what you want me to do, bro. I'm not. Luke. Yo. I think you need a therapist, man. I mean, I just dropped the thing of water and you just like.
Hey, I'm not going to a therapist, bro. I've been doing it on my own long enough. I don't need to. I'm chilling, bro.
Bro, what was that, man?
Yo, I'm just.
Bro, why would you do, like, did nothing tell you that that was not I?
Bro,
you know, no, stop. You know my history. You know that I watched my friend die. Drown right in front of me. You want to throw water at me like that? Like, that's just okay? Who told you that that was I?
I think it was that big a deal, man.
You didn't think it was that big a deal? How about somebody hurt somebody in front of you and see if you don't got triggers? That stuff hurts, bro. You live with that every day of your life.
Listen, man. If that's that big of a deal, then you should have gone to a therapist. If that's the big problem.
Nah, here we go again with that therapist stuff.
Call first.
Help.
Luke, what are you thinking about? I can't help you if you don't talk to me.
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It's fine.
Luke, you can't keep ignoring this. You're going to have to face it. You're going to have to forgive yourself.
I'm good. I'm fine. I'm fine. In all honesty, I'm fine.
Welcome back to YB Tonight. I'm Reed Milliken. We just watched Autophobia, Ethan Madden's debut short film. Ethan, can you tell me a little bit about what autophobia means to you?
Yeah, so this film, I really wanted to kind of showcase like what it's like if you don't get help, if you have like a mental illness or like trauma, like in this one. Luke had a friend drown, and he's so caught up about it in his heart and stuff that anytime he sees water, he can't even think. Like, it just all goes away and he can't think about anything. And even when he goes to see a therapist, he can't even admit like anything. And I just want to show like mental illness is real, trauma is real, and like all that stuff is real, and you should get help, and therapy is an option, and you shouldn't just like brush it off like it's nothing, I guess.
Yeah, that's great. I think film is like a great, like making stuff is a great way to like, it's kind of like therapy in its own, right?
Yeah,
It's kind of showing yourself what you're struggling with through the films that you make. Would you say that that's applicable?
Yeah, I would agree with you. Yeah. I think that filmmaking is like an outlet for me.
It is,
It's very helpful. With that.
Yeah, that's great. So what would you say are some of the things that you learned about creating Autophobia?
Like while I created it?
Yeah.
Like during the process?
Yeah.
I think the main thing I learned was working with a crew makes things easier, but it also can make things a lot harder.
Yeah, for sure.
I had a couple people on my crew, and some of them made it difficult, and then some made it easier, and some made it more easier, and it was just a balance we had to find. And I think that it's kind of essential because you kind of need a crew to make a good film. You can't just do it all on your own.
Absolutely, yeah. It's hard, like, especially from the director's point of view. It's like finding that balance between, as you said, like, obviously as a director you have to have a vision, and whether you want to like put all of your vision in it or whether you want to allow collaboration from other people. It's hard to figure that out, right?
Yeah, it was difficult for this one especially because there was a lot of ideas. It was one of my first projects, and everyone had a lot of ideas, but I really wanted to take control, so I kind of took control and made this.
Right. That's what college is for, though, right? Especially like learning stuff like this. Is you have to learn the give and take, learning all of those filmmaking, problem-solving skills. So yeah, that's definitely a great thing to learn. So talk to me a little about. So you obviously directed it. Did you also edit it as well?
Yeah, I directed it and I edited it, and I also wrote the script for it. So I kind of did the main pieces, but I'm not taking any credit away from the people that helped. The crew was amazing. I couldn't have done it without them, especially.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you shoot it as well?
I shot it. Yeah, I shot
nice.
most
Okay.
of it.
Yeah, there's some great cinematography in
Thank
there.
you.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Thank you.
What was the time span on that? How long did it take you from start to writing to filming to editing to done? Like, what was the time span on that?
We had a couple group brainstorming sessions, which took a while because we all wanted different ideas for the film. We threw around a lot of ideas. Finally landed on this one. I wrote the script. That took about 2 to 3 days. I could have done it in one day, but I procrastinated a lot, so I didn't do that. But then the filming process, that took about, it was 3 days, but we only filmed for two of them. The middle day, we didn't film anything because the actors weren't ready and stuff like that. But the editing process was probably one of the most difficult parts because I saved it all for the night before.
Yeah,
so I turned it in. I turned it in, I think, around 6 a.m. Didn't sleep that entire night, and then went to class at 8 a.m.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
the editing's great too for doing it in one night.
I appreciate it.
So the water effects where he's drowning, there was a special effect you did there, right?
There was, yeah. I think you're talking about the water effect when the cup drops on the ground.
Yes, I'm sorry.
When the cup drops on the ground, I was in the editing lab, and my friend, he was in there editing with me, and he was kind of suggesting that to do the replay sound for when it goes back to it goes back to Luke, sorry, not the actor, the character. It should be like a fast, like intense moment. So I took a audio clip of a bullet shot, and then I reversed it and kind of distorted the pitch a little bit.
Yeah.
And that kind of brought around that.
Yeah.
That just brought it around.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
The problem solving in filmmaking is always just so fascinating to me. I think to be a director, you have to be a good problem solver, and so I always love like learning about like the problems that are presented and then how fast you come around them, right?
Yeah.
So editing all in one night, obviously that had to be a pretty quick fix that you had to come up with.
Yeah,
so
it was.
That's pretty cool.
I'm thankful for Nick Rizzuto Thank you, Nick Rizzuto, for helping me with that.
Yeah, that's cool. So filmmaking, just in a broader sense, when would you say is when did you realize that this is what you wanted to go into?
I really got into like film and photography during COVID. I just kind of grabbed my dad's camera and I would just go outside for like 3 hours and take pictures and just like random videos.
Yeah.
I live kind of in the country, so I'd take videos of like the creek or just take pictures of the woods and like an abandoned mill and all this crazy stuff. And then one day I was like bored. I finished school and I was just kind of done, so I was like, I'm gonna write a script. So I started writing a script. I wanted to make a Coca-Cola ad, but it didn't end up being that. I made a film about like depression and stuff. I don't know how it came about, but after I finished that and it was done, I posted on YouTube and I was just like, wow, this makes me feel, I like how this makes me feel, so I just really wanted to pursue that.
Absolutely. That feeling you get after you've like created something, like you just poured your heart and soul into something, and then to see it finish, it's like, it is unparalleled, that feeling. Yeah, I absolutely feel you. So what would you say, so just as a side question, what's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie is A Place Beyond the Pines.
Okay, nice.
I really like the pacing of that movie and just the storyline.
Yeah.
It hits me really hard.
Nice.
But yeah, that's my favorite movie.
That's Bradley Cooper?
It's Bradley Cooper. I can't remember the other actor's name.
Okay.
Bradley Cooper and some other famous actor.
Yeah, Ryan Gosling, I think, too.
It's right. Thank you. Yeah, it's Ryan Gosling.
Okay. I forget the female lead, but yeah, no, I like that movie. So what would you say, so you talked about what you learned from making this. What were some tips that you'd give, or what lessons will you take to the next film that you make?
I would say time management. Definitely time management.
For sure.
For this we could have gotten it done a lot faster and with a lot less stress, but I guess that's what happens when you do a first project. You kind of have to learn. So I would say work on time management as much as you can because it's important. You're going to get the project done no matter what.
Right.
It just depends on how unstressful it is and how much time
and how
it
much
takes.
sleep you get while creating it. Yeah, absolutely.
Sleep is important. Yeah.
So who have you learned from when it comes to filmmaking? Like any directors that you take from inspiration from or anything?
Yeah, so I don't really have like a favorite. That question gets asked a lot in my life. I don't really have like a favorite director, but there's an alumni student that used to go here. His name is Josh Stanley, and he's been a pretty big inspiration because he graduated and then started his own company, Lifestyle Media, and it's just cool to see like success out of something
Absolutely.
that a lot of people are like, oh, film is just like you do it for fun. It's like art. You don't really make money.
Right.
But
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's cool to see people make success with what they love to do.
No, I can't. There have been so many times like I've told relatives like, oh, I'm a film major. I want to be a director or something. They're like, oh, okay. So what else? Like they don't really take it seriously. So it's definitely cool to like kind of get that like, I don't know, that validation that you can go out and do something. And creating short films like that is a great way of receiving validation, kind of proving not only to yourself that you can make something, but proving to the people around you that no, like I'm taking this seriously. I can make something good. Yeah. It's an incredible feeling for sure. Well, thank you so much for coming out, Ethan. It was great to watch the short film. I'm so excited to see what you have from next.
Thank you.
Do you have a YouTube channel? Is there anywhere that we can find you so we can see stuff that's coming out?
Yeah, my YouTube channel is, honestly, I don't know my YouTube channel. I think it's just Ethan Madden, or Ethan J. Madden, something like that. But yeah, you can look me up if you want.
All right, well, thank you very much. Do not go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. But when we are, we're going to be sitting in with one more person. We've got one more interview right after the break.
My name is Arkel Brown. I am a senior communication major here at Messiah. Within our community, honestly, it's like one big family. Everyone relies on each other to get certain projects done. You know you can depend on other people within the communications department. Throughout the years, my skill set has completely evolved. I was actually able to do color commentating for the men's basketball last season, so it was pretty fun. I take pride in these extracurricular programs. I am the student assistant basketball coach for the women's basketball team. This year is my 4th year working. They've really become another family here for me on campus, and it just made me adapt so easily. And basketball is something I've always loved, so it was natural. The interactions between professors and students here are amazing, honestly. I couldn't ask for any better interactions with my professors. They're so caring, they're so loving, they're generous, and they're always open to anything you have to say or any questions that you have. They really want to be there for you. My Christian faith is everywhere in the classes, whether it's being through prayer before classes or having devotion. It's always tied in with our Christian faith, right? We have to be honest. We have to know we have to keep God first in every situation and know that without God, we wouldn't even have the opportunity to be where we are. It definitely keeps us grounded. And I think Messiah has taught me so much about myself within the communication department as how I relate to people, how people relate to me. We understand each other's differences. And I think I'll be ready for the real world once I graduate.
Hey, thanks for sticking around. Welcome back to YB Tonight. I'm Reed Milliken, and today I'm joined by Rachel. Rachel is here to discuss the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Now, Rachel, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I can't complain. So tell me a little about what FCA is, what it stands for, what you guys do.
Yeah, so FCA stands for Fellowship of Christian Athletes. On a global scale, FCA is the largest parachurch organization in the world.
Oh, wow.
So they operate in a lot of different countries as well as the United States. On a more local scale, you might find FCA on a college campus or in a high school or a middle school, but they really hone in on their camps over the summer.
Yeah.
Camp ministry is a huge deal for FCA, and that's where we reach the most students.
Sweet. Have you been involved in those camps and stuff back in high school?
I have, yeah.
Sweet, okay.
I went to Kutztown FCA camp, which is coming up again in June. 2 times as a camper and then 2 times as a huddle leader.
Oh, nice. Okay. So you went as a camper and you realized, like, hey, this is great. I want to come back in some other capacity. Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many years total have you been involved in?
With FCA in general since sophomore year of high school.
Okay, and is that, were you a camper for those first couple years, or have you been a part of it longer as part of the camper as well?
Yeah, so I was a student leader
Okay.
in my high school from sophomore year on.
Nice.
And then I went to camp all of those years in high school, a couple different camps.
Awesome, okay. So you run FCA here, so what goes on in a typical meeting?
Yeah, so FCA, it's a lot of fun. It's every Monday night at 8:30 and Fry 110.
Awesome.
We'll start out with some light snacks. We have a great hospitality director that provides all of that for us. And then we do announcements, just the general sports games for the week. And then we jump into a game. We always have a game, usually an FCA classic. And then we do worship, led by our 2 worship coordinators. And then we have a speaker, either somebody that's on campus or we invite an off-campus person to come speak. And then we close with small groups and close out with prayer.
Awesome, okay. So how many people do you have in the group in FCA from Messiah?
Yeah, so it varies each week with
Okay.
what's going on campus. So I would say we started out last semester 80 strong coming every week, and then it slowly dwindled and has steadily increased.
Yeah, that's great then. So 80 people, I feel like on a small campus, is a pretty good turnout.
It is,
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah, that's great. So what would you say FCA is like, how has it impacted the Messiah's community, would you say?
Yeah, I would say that it really builds to that word of community, especially in athletics, but also outside of athletics. A lot of our students that are attending right now are actually not athletes on campus. So
Oh, wow.
FCA
Okay.
provides that space for those students to really get to know the athletes and kind of enmesh with the teams on campus. It's a really cool experience to watch from a leadership position.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I would agree with that. So it's taking in people who are athletes both on campus and off campus. That's like pretty inclusive. You guys are building a good community there, would you say?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Absolutely. So how would you say that you create community through the club?
With my role as director of social media, I love creating fun social media posts. The other week we had Connor Rose that he spoke, and he gave me a picture that was a little bit beachy, and I was like, okay, like we're gonna bring in some Outer Banks.
Yeah.
And I like to bring in a lot of fun interests. Our presidents do that really well also.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So how would you say that the club, how would you say FCA's like impacted you? You've been a part of it for so long. What would you say it's done for you?
Yeah, I've really been able to see the mission statement of FCA come to life. So FCA's goal is to see the world transformed for Jesus Christ by coaches and athletes.
Oh, nice.
And I had 2 coaches in high school that really poured into me, and to have the opportunity to carry on attending FCA during my time at Messiah has been something that's been a huge blessing.
That's cool, kind of returning the favor, I guess, right?
Yeah,
Pour into
yeah.
other people. Yeah, that's really cool.
FCA really likes to make disciples who go out and make more disciples, and to have that opportunity is something that I never take for granted.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome. So what are some responsibilities in club? How do you go about doing that?
Yeah, so I had a role change starting at the beginning of this semester. I was the director of hospitality, so I would go through SGA and get the snacks and everything for the meetings, kind of just help people feel welcomed. And then this semester, I'm now the director of social media, so I do the social media posts, just contribute to our leader meetings, run the meetings here and there whenever we need people to step in different aspects if one leader can't attend and vice versa.
Gotcha. Cool stuff. What would you say is your fondest memory about the club, being a part?
Oh, wow. I definitely would say the connections that I've made, like in terms with athletes, but especially with our area reps for Cumberland County. Hannah is the wife of Dylan May, who's the grad assistant on the track team.
Okay.
And I have absolutely loved having her support and really getting to know her, but also have her pour into me throughout the week.
That's awesome. It just seems like a great collection of just awesome people that you can pour into, but then also be poured into as well.
Yeah, it really is.
That's great. So what makes FCA unique? Like, what would you say?
I would say the idea that it impacts Messiah's campus, but the impact is also global. So where I'm from in Frederick, Maryland, our area is specific to Malaysia. So we send students from Frederick to Malaysia to do like summer internships. And being able to hear their stories and connect with them after they've come home to see how the Lord has changed their life, but also impacted those around them as well, has been really,
That's
really
awesome.
great.
Just a plethora of great opportunities, forming testimonies. That's pretty sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's FCA got for the future? What do they have in store?
Yeah, so I mentioned our camps. Those are something that we really love to get Messiah students involved in. So if you're interested in attending any of those camps as huddle leaders, or we have a college camp coming up, usually Memorial Day weekend, please check out the link in our bio on Instagram. And then we also—
What's your Instagram tag?
@ Messiah_FCA.
Sweet.
Yeah. And then we have our sunset worship coming up sometime, probably the end of April. We don't have a date set for that. and then our end of year party, which usually always has lots of food and Rita's Italian ice.
Sweet. That sounds good. All right. So what do you hope to see from FCA in the future? Like, how do you hope to see it grow?
Yeah, more in attendance, more outreach to the teams. We're really trying to reach some of those teams that don't have as many members coming by maybe dropping off some snacks before their big game, but definitely just more members in attendance.
Absolutely. So to those prospective new attendees out there, what would you say? What's your call to action? What do you hope to say to those new coming people?
You don't have to be an athlete to come.
Sweet.
And we love having you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming out today, Rachel. Thank you again for joining us. FCA, it just sounds like a great way to get connected to people, to get connected with other athletes and non-athletes on campus. And it seems like you guys have a ton of great activities coming up. That Sunset Worship sounds awesome. Yeah, sweet. Okay, so well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in for YB Tonight. That's it for our episode, unfortunately. But you can tune in next week, Monday at 7 for so much more. On behalf of myself and the entire YBTV crew, have a great week, Messiah.